Welcome to John Leigh Park in Altrincham. Why is it there's no wind when you want wind? Now, we've been here before and we've actually done a whole video about John Leigh Park. Well, about John Leigh. And that was way back when Elon Musk and, not Elon Musk, Richard Branson had just come back from outer space. Or inner space. And I was ranting about him, ranting about us taking better care of the environment and not putting so many carbons into the atmosphere. One of the comments on the video about John Leigh, someone mentioned that there was a bomb crater in the park from, I guess it was the Christmas raids in, what was that, 43? And I think it might be over here. The last time I was here, this was filled with water. I thought it was a little pond. There must be a drain there somewhere. Must have been plugged at the time. Now, it's not really looking like much of a crater here, but it is huge. It is, God, that's got to be, what, 100 feet across? I'm kind of standing on one edge here, and you can see the other edge over there. It's got to be 100 feet. Something interesting over here. What's this? Pole sticking up. Don't know what they are. Is it something or just nothing? Metal bracket things down in the ground. What are these things? Oh yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Oh, maybe I will. Maybe I should have tried the lower ones. But I tell you one thing, this is the second last time I'm ever buying sunglasses from Poundland. Look at this, they're broken already. John Leigh Park has been appreciated and actively used by the local community for 100 years. The park covers just over 14 acres and is used for a variety of activities. There are 2 formal playgrounds, one for infants, which includes an aviary, and a second larger play area for older children. There's also a mature collection of trees arranged in groups and avenues on the gently undulating landscape. Some highlights of the park include the John Leigh Park gateposts are thought to be original to Oldfield Hall and were put in place by the Rigby family in 1768. A notice in the Manchester Courier offered a 2 guineas reward to anyone with information about the vandal who damaged the palisades. It's just a simple column post, isn't it? But still something to carve from stone, isn't it? I assume it's carved from stone. Yeah, they're lovely. Nice that they've survived and remained. I guess they're somewhat in situ. In the center of the park is the popular feature known as the dip, used by local children for sledging and tobogganing on the rare occasion when it snows. Local hearsay suggests that the dip was caused as a result of a wartime bomb. However, contrary to popular belief, the dip was originally a pond that was a feature of the Oldfield Hall estate. The pond was presumably lined with a puddled clay waterproofing, which has worn away over time, or may have been dug out. Well, unfortunately, it appears it is not a bomb crater. Unfortunate it's not a bomb crater. It's a strange sentence. But I guess the truth of the matter is no less impressive. It was a pond for the hall. Oops. I thought this might be a drain here. It's funny, it doesn't fill up with water. I guess it drains through. The former site of a summer house named the Temple, which was built to resemble a miniature Greek temple in approximately 1816. In August 1919, a complaint was received by the park's neighbors at Parkfield about inappropriate use of the summer house, after which it was pulled down. It is also rumored that there was once an ice house located in this spot. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I like the idea that it was a bomb crater. Like, better a bomb crater in the middle of a park than on somebody's house, which unfortunately did happen. There were, I think like a dozen or so casualties in the Altrincham Blitz. So if the information board is correct, that is not from a bomb. It's not a bomb crater. It's a shame when these urban myths get dispelled. I like the idea that it was a bomb crater. Do some sliding in the bomb crater. It's a nice idea. The oldest resident of the park, possibly dating from the early to mid-17th century, pedunculate oak. This ancient tree has developed the hollowed-out chamber of its heartwood, which is typical of a tree of its age. It has been necessary to pollard the crown to stabilize the structure against splitting, and the hollow trunk has been braced to improve its chances of a longer life. Pedunculate oak. And let's go see if we can find that. A nice little play area. Let's see if we can find that tree. Now this is that spongy tarmac. I like this stuff. I think it's made from recycled tires. Oh, this is normal. Okay, where's this 1700s tree? Is that it? Might that be it with the stones around it? Let's have a look. What's that word? Pedunculate? Pedunculate. What does pedunculate mean? I have to look up pedunculate. Editor man, tell us what pedunculate means. What does pedunculate mean?
Pedunculate means having a peduncle.
Yeah, I don't think this is the tree. Okay, where is this tree? Does it still exist? Never know, sometimes these signboards in parks and places haven't been updated to the most recent information. It would have to be a kind of large tree. So there's two candidates over here. Let's go look at those. Well, this one isn't hollowed out, so that can't be it. Another large one over here. Might this be the one? Pedunculate? Pedunculate. What does pedunculate mean? Ped. Foot? Ah, might this be it? It is hollowed out. Very large tree. Hello. I don't think you could hide in there. I was reading the story a couple days ago about, was it Charles II hiding in an oak tree? Those bird nests up there in the So how many times have I walked past the birds? I think they're this way.
The aviary was saved in 2014 from council cuts by the Friends of John Leigh Park, who now maintain and care for the birds. Specimens include budgerigars, cockatiels, zebra finches, and birks from Australasia.
That's a nice little home, even if it is a cage. Little cappy. I'm completely overdressed again. I've lived here for 7 years and I still can't figure out the weather.
John Leigh Park is located on the former site of the Oldfield Hall estate. The origins of Oldfield Hall began in the 16th century with the first owners by the name of Parker. There were 7 owners of Oldfield Hall in total. William Rigby, whose family were the 3rd owners of Oldfield Hall, are credited with rebuilding Oldfield Hall and responsible for stocking the estate with many of the specimen trees, some of which still exist today. Rigby and subsequent owners of Oldfield Hall were Manchester men, whose significant contributions helped to build the burgeoning manufacturing industry in Manchester. In 1906, Oldfield Hall was vacated by the final owners, the Groves family, and fell into disrepair. The hall was subsequently purchased by the Earl of Stamford and finally broken up for sale in 1915. This land was hotly debated in the local press at the time as ideal for redevelopment as homes for heroes, for soldiers returning from the Great War. Oldfield Hall, as seen on an early map, circa 1772 to 1774, by expert cartographer Peter Burdett, Oldfield Hall can clearly be seen as an estate of some importance. In July 1917, recognizing the potential benefits for soldiers recuperating at the adjacent John Leigh Hospital, a local man and wealthy cotton industrialist by the name of John Leigh, later Sir John Leigh, seized the opportunity and purchased the remnants of the Oldfield Hall estate. Leigh went on to gift the land to the citizens of Altrincham as a public park. His only stipulation was that the land should be known as Leigh Park in memory of his father, John Leigh, and kept as an open space forever.
When you grow up with these names and places, they just become part of the scenery, part of the background, part of the story of your life, and you don't really think about John Leigh being a person, but he was an extraordinary person, and I suggest you watch the video on him. He was a pretty amazing guy. He was quite the philanthropist. He donated the overwhelming amount of his fortune to all kinds of things, to his employees, to the community, like John Leigh Park here, and he was responsible for several army hospitals during the First World War. And I came across an article the other day about Homes for Heroes, and Homes for Heroes was part of the scheme that this land was allotted for, but they built them somewhere else, Oldfield Brow, I think. And that was an amazing scheme. The First World War was a very interesting time. Of course, the First World War was an interesting time, to say the least. But the post-First World War was a very interesting time for social change. You had all these guys coming back from the war, and a lot of these social programs, like housing, and well, women got the vote, and all kinds of very interesting things happened after the First World War, because basically the government was afraid that the people weren't going to put up with their lot in life if some changes weren't made. You know, you had the communist revolution, the Russian Revolution, and they were afraid a lot of these things happening. So a lot of social change took place. And John Leigh was a big part of helping social change. So this looks like lawn bowling. Not something I've ever tried. I'd like to give it a go. Outdoor lawn games, always a bit of fun. So that looks like lawn bowling, and it's not something I've ever tried. I'd like to give it a go. I like those outdoor lawn games. Am I old enough to try lawn bowling? I'm sure you can play it at any age. Not a lot of flowers on the go. I think we're in that little unfortunate time period between flower blooms. You can never have too many black-eyed Susans. I think that's what they are. So you get all turned around when you're viewing the world through the lens of a camera. I have no idea where I am. I haven't been paying attention to where I'm going. I'm looking at the world through the camera. not paying attention to where I'm going. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's not. It's better to experience the world with your own eyes, I think. And of course there are all kinds of climbing structures for those children brave enough to try a real one as opposed to a video game version. Do you think you can make it across? Can you make it across? Maybe crocodiles below or lava. So if you're in the area, John Leigh Park is a nice place to visit. There's lots of things for kids to do here, and I believe they have organized events and things. So if you're in Altrincham, come by John Leigh Park. Now, we didn't cycle here today. I got a lot of miles to make up. So if you want to donate to our bicycle-a-thon, we have 100 miles to do in August for prostate cancer research. So check out the link in the description, and we'll see you in the next one.